The other day I read an article about Jeff Bezos in Forbes magazine, and he was describing 4 different elements of his success. And the interesting thing was that those 4 elements are completely resonating with my company SEOleverage.com. So let's talk about those. Hi, my name is Gert. I'm the founder of SEOleverage.com, a search engine optimization agency with a little bit of a different approach to this industry. We have developed a framework called Erica. I'm going to talk about more later. And we apply this framework to all our clients for best long-term results. SEO is really about positioning your brand ahead of your competition in Google when somebody searches for what you're selling, your service, your product, your brand. So if you want to know more, head over to SEOleverage.com. It would be a pleasure to get in touch with you. First thing first, customer obsession. The first element Bezos describes is customer obsession. Every team member, every employee needs to have in mind that the customer needs to have the ultimately best experience ever when they make a purchase, even before they make a purchase. And this is something that we have even in the early days, probably 20 years ago in this company. I was already talking to my first team members on how we need to make sure that the experience the customer has with us, from the transparency we give, from the onboarding process, etc., is always absolutely outstanding. And not only outstanding, but also gives you as a customer the reassurance that you have made the right decision. I think this is extremely important and definitely responsible for many recommendations and referrals I have been getting for my companies over the years. The second element Bezos describes in the interview is the long-term view. One of my mentors, James Remco, has always talked about that everything is a long game. If you plant a tree, it's a long game until you can cut it down, have the wood you were planting it for. Everything takes a lot of time. If you raise kids, you need to be really patient, really make sure that you give them the time to develop, and everything just needs a long time. So building a brand, building a company is not something you're going to do today and tomorrow you earn the fruits of your labor. Everything is a long game. And also the decision-making process of clients very often is a long game. So they really need to mature their thoughts, probably mature their business to be ready for your service, for your product. So everything is a long game. And if you think about this, that instead of trying to achieve everything in the next month, you give yourself a space of 5 to 10 years, a lot of things suddenly are possible. You might not have a 7-figure business tomorrow, but you might have one in 5 or 10 years. And if you give yourself this time, and if you make sure that the market and your clients, your followers, can mature with you, everything is going to change. So embrace this long-term view. Things are not going to happen overnight. Unless you win the lottery, it's not going to happen overnight. Give yourself the time and think about all you can do once you are in this mindset. What can you achieve in the next year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years? Things are going to change rapidly when you give yourself this space or this time horizon of quite a few years in order to develop something. Amazon wasn't a big brand overnight. Amazon took 10, 20 years to really become what they are today. What about these first 2 elements? Do you think they make sense for your business, or is this only something Amazon can aspire to? Let me know your thoughts in your comments. Third element Bezos describes is innovation. And this is my favorite one, because innovation in SEO, my SEO agency, is just really so important. And it's interesting that when you're the founder of a company, you have a certain vision in mind on where things are going to go. And I keep telling my team, look, this is going, I know exactly what this looks like in my head. This is going to be this way, this is going to be that way. Google is going to have to go in this direction so we can innovate and try to adapt the process. So innovation is just really something that needs to be driven, I think, personally, by the founder, and Jeff Bezos definitely has been showing that this is absolutely important, but also the team and employees, staff needs to carry on this innovation. So I have my team very often comes to me and says, look, can't we do this differently? Can we do this better? Maybe this would give the customer a better result. So we try to innovate even in the most basic processes on SEO, like keyword research or something like this. Innovation happens all the time. We use new tools, new methodologies, we find new sources of information, contrast, calculate, etc. So just to make sure that we are always ahead of the curve. And this was definitely really, really important for Amazon as well. Be ahead of the curve, innovate, try new things all the time. Not everything is going to work, but you definitely want to keep trying, and you're going to develop your brand, your product, your service in a direction that is completely new and not seen in the market, and your customers are going to appreciate this in the long run. The last thing Bezos mentions is operational excellence. And this really consists in two things. On the one hand, customer experience. We always need to strive for improving the customer experience with our brand, how the touch points, every single touch point we have with clients can probably be improved, and we're always working on those as well. And the second thing is our internal operational excellence, so to speak. So from productivity, efficiency, every single task can probably be done either with different tools, in a different manner, really making sure that every task is not only something we do and the customer doesn't matter, but more looking at this task as if we were the customer, we were the client, and we were using this task in order to achieve what we want to achieve in our business, get closer to our business goals, and then perform this task in the name, so to speak, of our client, because then the outcome is going to be the best. It's going to be a very big difference if I research keywords for search engine optimization as an agency, very distant from the final client, or if I perform a keyword research absolutely embodying the client's situation, the client's goals, and then look at those keywords from the client's perspective. The result, the outcome, is going to be completely different. And this is where it's so important that you really trust your agency, you trust your consultant, just to make sure that they really understand what you try to achieve and perform their tasks in your name, so to speak, and in your best interest. Because otherwise you're just a number on a list of clients, and you're not going to receive the quality of work and the results you were actually coming in. So your operational excellence is something that needs to be something present all the time in the company, in all kinds of ways, and all the employees, not only the founder, need to embrace this concept and try to strive always for making things better with a better outcome for the customer. When I started out with SEO, I wasn't really sure how to apply this to our clients, how to help our clients best to achieve the best results. But then over the years, and it's been 20 now, I'm getting older, we have refined a system that really, really works and keeps clients around without any obligation for years. We call this the Erica framework. I even ended up publishing a book about it just because it works so well, and I want more and more people to apply this and have this Erica system really be something to refer to. Over the years, we have been able to work with a lot of trusted, very well-known brands, and are very happy with the results we're getting. Ultimately, what we pursue with the Erica framework is that we have a consistent revision and definition of high impact items to focus on, because ultimately very often what we see is that people focus on the wrong things. They spend energy, money, resources on the wrong tasks that are really not going to do anything for them in the next years probably, instead of focusing on 2-3 tasks that can be done really quickly that ultimately are going to move the needle. And if you focus on the right task consistently over time, it really makes all the difference. And it's really similar to a personal trainer that just directs you and say, look, these are the exercises you should be focusing on. These are the elements in your diet you need to change. And if you do this consistently and have this long-term view Bezos really embraces, it's just happening. So the process is extremely important, and the Erica framework is the best formula we have been able to come up with that essentially makes sure that the process happens this way. So if you're interested, head over to SEOleverage.com and get in touch with us. You're going to find this under services, the Erica framework. If you like these tips and you think this was valuable for you, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we push out videos like these every week.